And with the weather we've been having, you need some real good comfort food, right? Well, folks in the tri-state area have been enjoying her incredible baked goods for some time now, but thanks to a show, The Big Brunch, a lot more people know all about this talented baker. Take a look.
I started my own business when I was 13 years old, making this very recipe, chocolate chip scones with a whipped honey butter. I'm from a big Italian family where everything really revolves around the next meal. And my grandmother, Rosemary, she was really the baker. She saw in me that it wasn't just a hobby, it was really a true passion, and that this was what I was really meant to do.
Thank Grandma Rosemary for passing that along to me.
Yeah,
Joining this morning is talented chef and owner behind the Hungry Gnome Catering and Baked Goods. Also the reigning scone queen of New York, Miss Danielle Sepsy. Ben's done a piece on you. We've aired it. We've tried your stuff before. We love you. Yes. We're so glad you're
You
here.
are official
Our family.
nomies. I call you guys my nomies.
Yeah.
My business is called the Hungry Gnome, so you're my nomies.
My families are nomies.
Yes.
I love that.
And I love that Grandma Rosemary kind of passed along the baking gene. I have a
She
Grandma
did.
Rose.
You do.
Yes,
I love that.
Anyway, so you're scone queen of New York, right? But you
Apparently.
also had a big show on the Big Brunch.
Yes.
And I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, so all out right now. But tell us a little about that show real quick.
Yeah, so it is 10 chefs from all over the country, and Dan Levy, the incredible Dan Levy, brought us all to California to compete in this very lighthearted, beautiful competition where we're making brunch, or our take on brunch, but we also get to share our stories. And all of us, we really care about our communities and have impacted our communities in some way, and we get to talk about that.
Yeah.
So it really is a different kind of competition show.
Yeah, and that's the thing about your life. I mean, from where you were during the middle of the pandemic to where you are now on this show, you must have had a lot of pinch me, is this real moment?
Every day, pinching myself. I mean, I started my business out of my parents' home when I was 13 years old, and then continued doing it when I moved to New York City later on, out of my one-bedroom apartment with a tiny oven. My husband was doing deliveries, and now I sell to over 150 stores and ship nationwide. So
crazy talent.
every day pinching myself, but I'm so blessed to have an incredible team of 15 people working with me every day. So
we love when good things happen to good people,
Thank
and you
you.
are one of those good people. I liked in your video too, you talked about, Italians kind of always wondering what's for the next meal.
Always.
You're at lunch and everybody's always saying, what's for dinner?
Exactly.
What are we doing next? But you're also about getting kids in the
Yes.
kitchen, right? Making everything kind of hands-on experience. Let me know I'm kind of doing this with my 6-month-old.
I
She's
can't
really
wait for
hands-on.
Olivia to eat salads. Yes, we're going to give her scones. Yes.
This is going to be one of the first things she tries when she can eat salads.
Yes, I can't
so
wait.
what makes cooking for you so fun for the whole family?
Yeah, I just think it builds community, it gets people involved, and I have a niece and nephew, and they love to get creative and get messy and just have fun with it. And even if it doesn't come out perfect, these are the memories that last forever.
Yeah.
And I was in the kitchen from the time I was able to walk and stand with my grandma, and look at me now. So,
Right.
I think it really gets kids just excited to be in the kitchen, but also just spending time with you and off their phones and tablets and things like that, and just doing something fun that will, and again, the memories will last forever.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big goal. Get them off those tablets. But
Exactly.
would a quiche then be a great
It
recipe for a
is.
family?
Absolutely, and especially because you can also make it ahead of time. So holiday time's really busy, and you might have a lot of recipes to make. So you can make it, you can even bake it, pop it in the freezer or the fridge,
That's what I'm
and then
talking
just
about.
thaw it and heat it up.
Okay.
The day you want to
And
have
you're
it.
talking about making your
So-
own crust too. That freaks me out.
Yes, well, I'm going to show you. Don't be scared.
Okay.
We're going to do this together. It's really pretty easy. I'm going to have you, since you want to learn how to make
Sure.
crust, I'll have you dig in here. So we've got some all-purpose flour and some whole wheat flour. So in a quiche, I like to use a little whole wheat flour because it has a little more texture, also a little bit healthier.
Okay.
Even though we're going to put in 10 tablespoons of butter, but it's okay. I would say live a little.
So all it goes into
He
the...
had
yep, all in
starved
there.
himself all day so that he could do that.
Excellent. Now we also need some salt, always salt, just to really flavor our dough. And then we have some butter. This is actually salted butter,
Right.
and it's nice and cold. This is key to a nice flaky crust.
I never know about this,
Ice
with the
cold
salted,
butter.
the unsalted, and whether it's cold or if it's salt. I just kind of, it's a...
Because rule of thumb, really, if you're making a cake or cookies, typically it's going to be room temperature or softened, so that it can really incorporate nicely and be creamed with the butter and with the sugar and really break down the granules of the sugar. But here, we want it nice and cold, and you want little bits to still be within the crust when it bakes, so that when it hits the heat of the oven, the butter melts slowly and it gives you some little pockets and flakes within the dough and really gets that nice flaky buttery
And then what's next?
So, okay, we're going to mix this together.
Right.
Now you're going
Rapid
to
fire.
do the pastry cutter, and you're going to cut it in like this until it's little pea-sized pieces of butter.
While I do this, why don't you show Hazel the mix it?
So you keep working here. Now for the filling.
All right.
So we have 5 eggs here. We're going to add some half and half. That's going to make it nice and creamy and rich. Because this is the holiday time, we're not counting calories.
Nope.
No, we are not. Well,
Nobody's
I'm
counting
not.
calories. I'm counting calories, you know, not when I'm eating scones.
Yes, no. We're not eating salad here. So we've got a little black pepper, a little salt, also just a pinch of nutmeg. It adds a little richness. It's not so apparent, but it really just adds some richness. And then some nice fresh herbs. I've got some chives, I've got some scallions, and I've got some dill. And we can just whisk this together. And this is where you can get creative with the kids too. The kids love, you know, I'm doing broccoli today, but maybe they love peppers, maybe they love mushrooms, and you can sneak in some more veggies too. You're doing great.
Yeah.
This is great. We can go a little bit more, but then I'm going to get this ready over here.
And how much do you actually want to mix this? Because sometimes you don't want to mix it too much.
You really want to mix this until it's one homogeneous mixture where where you don't see any any of the egg white especially separated, because when it bakes you're going to see streaks of yellow and white.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
All right.
Can you use a blender for this or no?
You can use a food processor and pulse it a few times until you get to this.
Okay, because
I like to do things like by hand because
she's hands-on.
It's good for, you know, we're working out.
I haven't worked out since
And also, this is how Grandma did it. So we have to do the old school. We have to do it the old school way. Okay, you're good there. Now we're going to just beat in a bowl 1 large egg, and this is kind of unique for a crust. I like to put an egg in my quiche crust. I think it keeps it a little bit more just firm, so when you're cutting it doesn't crumble all over the place. It also adds some richness to the dough. Yep, a little bit of water, and you want ice cold water, keeping these ingredients as cold as possible, always.
Where are you getting all your secrets? Is this from your grandma?
It's from my grandma. It's from a lot of practice too.
Can I put it in?
It's all about practice. Yep.
Trial and error.
A lot of trial and error. And then just mix it together.
Right.
And if it looks dry, you add a little bit more water around the edges just to bring it together into a dough ball.
We're out of time.
Okay.
So now tell us
Then what?
So we've got the crust. Then we pop it in the freezer to get it nice and cold again. Then we can pour our ingredients, our fillings into our quiche. So I'm going to do a little bit of broccoli. I'm going to add some cheese here. I've got some cheddar. I also have some herbed boursin cheese, which has really nice flavors.
Okay.
Love a boursin.
I
Pour
love
it
a
right
bour-
into the crust, like so. And then I like to crumble the boursin on top. And then we can bake it. And this will bake on 375 degrees for only like 35 minutes. Really not so bad.
Okay.
And then I'm going to wipe my hands. It will come out like this.
Here, let me hold this.
We can cut it up.
That looks amazing.
I want you guys to try it.
Oh, boy.
It
Look at
is
this deliciousness.
That looks
rich,
great.
again, flaky, buttery crust, but also a little bit of texture too because we have that whole wheat flour in there.
Right. All right, cut that up. Danielle, we're going to wrap it up while you cut that up so Hazel wants a big old bite of that.
You got it.
Look at me, I'm like, first
we
one
have
in line.
this delicious recipe for this quiche on our website, okay? Godspeed with the dough. I promise she'll make it easy for you. Check her out on season 1 of The Big Brunch, which is now streaming on HBO Max. All right, we got the taste tester.
Okay, here we go. Hold
Get on in there.
I love being the taste tester. It's the best assignment.
Let's see. Can't go wrong with a quiche, you know? And look at that crust. Look at that crust.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfection.
All right. Thank you, Danielle.
Well, enjoy. I hope you make it this holiday
I'm going to
season.
try it. I don't have a fork. I'll try it, but I'll try during the break. Thank you. We love to have
Again,
you.
recipe on the website. We'll be right back.